You hear me now? I left, I came back. Let me see if I can figure it out on my own before I keep talking. This is just a pain in the neck. I don't know why this is a thing all of a sudden. You can hear me now? Oh, thank goodness. Child, anyway, I don't remember what I was even saying. I think I was saying it's Thursday, y'all. How's everybody's Thursday since we've made it to the end of the week? Um, clearly, I'm ending the same way I started over here. This is how the hump started. I'm gonna have to come in and like have a pre-screening before I come in. That's ridiculous. Anyway, hope y'all are having a good Thursday so far. It's hot tea over here for you, girl, because I was already caffeinated once this morning. And if I get caffeinated too much, I'll get in front of this ring light and be feeling dizzy and want to pass out. So none of that. We just gonna go ahead and H2O and a little bit of raspberry tea. Y'all like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let's get into the things that we do over here at Coffee Talk. At Coffee Talk, we talk about current events. We get into a little gossip as it relates to these celebrities, and we talk about the greatness, the great Black excellence, the current and the ones in history. Right now, we're going to start today with some current um, Black excellence, and it's what we do over here. So look at this young gentleman from Detroit. He's a prodigy. That's what they're calling him. And I'm not mad at that. I love to see it. Let's get on into the story. And I'm going to look at my phone because I can see better over there. So let's talk about this young man, Miles Dansler. Um, like I said, he's an 8-year-old prodigy from Detroit. All my devices are acting so weird today. I can't get into nothing. Woo! Good grief. Here we go. He was recently accepted into Mensa, the prestigious high IQ society, an achievement that has made his parents and community proud. I bet. So, Miles spends his days at Bates Academy in Detroit. At home, he enjoys watching educational videos on YouTube to learn about wide ranges of topics from dinosaurs to geography. There's an underwater country called Zealandia. It's actually the eighth continent, Miles said, sharing one of his many fascinating facts. From a young age, Miles' parents noticed his giftedness. He asked questions and learned faster than most children his age. When he started reading words that I couldn't read or that I couldn't read or correct me when I was reading books to him, I was like, okay, this is it. Said Jamila Johnson, Miles's mother. Miles earned a spot at Mensa at just 8 years old. I got one of the highest IQs on the IQ test, Miles said. It makes me really proud of myself. One thing that stands out here with this story is this mama was sitting here reading with her baby, and that makes a big difference. I am one of those moms. I have a son who is extremely gifted. As a child, I dealt with the same kind of things. He was like 3 years old. He was reading. Nobody was telling him, what to say. And so I think it's really important. And Miles may go on to do, a very regular things in life, but he's, definitely exceptional. And shout outs to the mom and dad for obviously spending time with him. And what is the name of the school? Bates Academy in Detroit. Shout out to them for giving him an environment, an educational environment that's going to feed into his excellence and not try to stifle it. And that's something we run into often. So, yeah, this great story. Wonder what young Miles is going to offer to us, as a community in the future. We have to keep our eye on Miles. Here's another one. Meet Najari Kennedy, first Black woman softball player to secure $1 million NIL deal, making history as a college sports millionaire. Okay, girl. Um, I love that they get their money. You know what I'm saying? NIL is like their image, name and image and likeness. So they're getting paid for that. And we did not, I'm not going to say I did not, I'm not familiar with her likeness, but it seems like now that, she getting paid these big bucks, we all going to know who she is. At just 21, Najari Kennedy became the first college softball player in history to sign a $1 million plus NIL deal, officially making her the first softball millionaire. All right now. Millionaire while still in college. This isn't just, I wonder what she's studying besides, being a baseball player. NIL deals are changing the game, and Najari's record-breaking contract proves Black women athletes deserve the money, visibility, and respect. This is what equality looks like. Now, the women's basketball team is over there trying to get their money. And I think some of them have, $1 million contracts, but this has nothing to do with her contract. This is just her NIL deal. What'd you say? I love it. We trying to tap into that. Tap into what? The NIL or the or the with the little boy with the Mensa Academy. Yeah, talk to me. What you trying to tap into? This is awesome. We'll be keeping our eye. I'm not a baseball. I'm not I like football. I like basketball, a little bit something, but baseball I am not into. Yes, these colleges been getting paid for years off the backs of these athletes that may or may not go pro. So I love that. I love that whether she goes on to be a pro or not. We know that when it comes to women's sports, a lot of times their careers don't really do much after the fact because we, the public, don't really, support it. So yeah, get her money now. Y'all looking into NILs? I swear, you know what? That great nephew of mine is gonna retire his auntie. You best believe it. Get that NIL deal, D. So one thing about having this money at such a young age, it could be a good thing or not a good thing. So I saw this story and I was like, this definitely makes sense as it relates to young Black folks needing to know, what to do with money, how to manage their money. A lot of times the athletes come out of places of lower income, families, and they don't have anybody around that's showing them like how to move forward and make their money make money and, financial responsibility. So Mississippi Senate passes a new bill, the Financial Literacy Act, which requires students to take a financial literacy course in order to graduate high school. I think every state should adopt that. I think, we have a lot of classes in school that don't necessarily benefit people once they leave school. You know what I'm saying? And I think this is definitely a good one. They need to learn taxes and, how all of that stuff works because they're clueless to you don't really understand how it works. And then you get out and you let somebody do your taxes and you don't really learn, again, like where to spend your money in order to not be stuck just paying taxes all too bad. So and when I say bad, I mean government taking your money that ain't, giving you money that ain't yours or taking more money or however taxes is working for you. It ain't really working in my favor these days. Mississippi Senate advances financial literacy and civics education bill. The Mississippi Senate has unanimously passed 2 education bills aimed at strengthening students' understanding of personal finance and government. I love this. The J.P. Williman Jr. Financial Literacy Act would require high school students to complete a half Carnegie unit in I don't know what that is. A half Carnegie unit in financial, I'm guessing it's credit of some kind, of financial literacy to graduate. The course would cover topics such as earnings, income, taxes, savings, credit, cash flow management, and fraud prevention. I like this. Middle school instructions would introduce key concepts to prepare students for high school requirements, with implementation details left to the Mississippi Department of Education. Well, the DOP, maybe I don't know. We're going to focus on the positive. A second measure would mandate the standalone high school civics course focused on factual instruction about U.S. government and history. If approved, teachers training for the course will begin in 2027-28 school year. I don't live in Mississippi, but I vote for this to be everywhere. Everywhere. You said you signed D up for tutoring and the place offers free financial literacy on the weekend. I love that. And I feel like it's never too young to get them started. When my kids were little and I did virtual school, when they were younger, they were in charge of the grocery list. Just simple, like, how much is it going to cost me to, eat for the next week? A family of 3, a family of 4, depending on, the situation. Yeah, so it's never too early to start. My daughter, my youngest, could go in there. My oldest, she buys what she wants to buy. Now that she's a mom, I feel like she'll do better because, when you're single and you're out there making money and you just, taking care of yourself, you tend to spend differently. But my youngest can go in the store and she can pick out, she knows which things to buy. She knows like what to look for and how to stay within the budget. And, if you have a little extra for something fun, you got to make sure that you've cut corners as much as you can along the budget. So I like this. I think, like I said, the education system here in Florida is garbage. It's trash. So this should definitely be something that is across the board with all the schools. And I just had a brain fart. Yeah, and I mean, like I said, you're never too young to start. Financial literacy, when you're looking at somebody who's in college and has just come across a $1 million plus deal, then she's going to have a lot of people in her face trying to tell her what to do with her money. And she needs to, and not just she, but people, young people moving forward, when they come into money like that early on, they need to know like how to manage it. And a lot of times, they said the teachers would start the training in 2027 to 28. Yeah, maybe they should already be, they need the training, so it's still coming along down the pike. We haven't, had any approvals yet over here, but I definitely think that's a plus in terms of education and civics too, because civics is, ignored because it's boring. I feel like history can be more interesting because you're learning about people, especially if you have a good history teacher. But aside from that, it can be boring and confusing. So you need somebody. One thing about having teachers, it's sometimes difficult to have people that are good at teaching. Basically, it's hard to have people that are good at explaining and understanding like how different students learn, and that's where the challenges come in as far as education is concerned. You have a system that's limiting what can be taught, but this is pretty black and white. So I feel like every student can benefit from this, and yeah, let's don't wait until their senior year. I think for middle school it should be a build up to start learning financial responsibility, even if it just means you need to learn how to take care of yourself when you exit, the education system. Are y'all familiar with Misty Copeland? I saw this story. Misty Copeland, who recently retired from ballet after making history as the first African American female principal dancer for the American Ballet Theater, got candid about her healing journey following hip replacement surgery. She said that she's still recovering and learning to walk again. Let's send home some encouragement her way. I don't think people realize like you're looking at Misty like on this walker. She got a hip replacement and she's a young woman, and that's a lot, you know what I'm saying, for a young woman. But that new hip gon' you know, Misty, did you know she was having hip replacement surgery? Um, that lifestyle, that you know, as a dancer, it puts a lot of pressure on your body to perform. And you know, she's getting hip replacement now, but I feel like, you know, she'll have that titanium hip. She's only 43, so I feel like, you know, the good thing is she she getting to it now before it's, you know, late into her career. And then you're dealing with other issues, like, you know, as you age, you know, the healing process. My mom had a hip replacement surgery and she was in her 80s. So, you know, ballet is rigorous. Yeah, I know. I knew it wasn't for me. I danced until I was 15 years old, but I knew it wasn't for me. Your feet are all jacked up, and you know, Misty is something special. So yeah, I'm happy that she's getting it done now. You just don't realize how much work these athletes put in. That's why it's important for them to get their money, because you know, had she had this type of deal, and I mean, ballet is a sport, so we're not gonna act like that's not a thing. Ballet is absolutely a sport. She is 100% an athlete, and you know, I'm not saying that she didn't get paid well, you know, in her career, but you know, the wear and tear on your body, your feet, you know, your hips, your arms, your everything, that is brutal. Gymnasts go through all that pounding. You know, what's the name? Simone Biles is still in the game, but you know, I seen Mary Lou somewhere driving drunk, getting arrested. Because and the thing is, I don't know the truth. You know, I don't know what happened, why she was under the influence, but I do feel like, you know, painkillers probably have something to do with the road that Mary Lou went down, because your body goes through so much. So shout out to Misty Copeland, um, and her bionic hip. The recovery is slow, but you know, she's healthy and she's still young. And I don't know that she's retired, so she doesn't need to dance again necessarily. But yeah, that's a hard road. Um, Let me go ahead and talk about this, because I meant to cover it in the beginning, but I had all the technical difficulties. So there's that. I wanted to start with something positive anyway. So I'm sure y'all have all heard by now that Mary Crosby's son passed away from an overdose. Um, Allegedly, we don't know like the full story, but that's probably what happened. Um, I watched this past season of Salt Lake City, and when I tell you, I was sitting there in tears watching this boy, you know, talk to her about how much pain he was in and how he felt. And you know, he's been depressed for a very long time. And this lady, like, they have a whole lot going on in this family with the cult stories and all the things that, you know, were going on. But when he was on the season, not this past season, but the season prior, when he was in the house with his wife, and they were just in that house, laid up, stoned out of their minds. Like, you could tell it was something going on then, obviously. And this is not anything on Mary necessarily. I can't imagine what type of weirdness was going on in that household with, he's, you know, the grandfather and all, and the mama walked all the way to Salt Lake City from wherever the hell she came from. It's a lot. Their story is a lot. But I also feel like Mary was walking around there pretending like nothing was going on. They got married without telling her. And yeah, this is really sad. I don't mean, you know, there's nothing good about somebody, you know, expiring at such a young age, 23 years old. He's just getting started. Good morning, Ja Tony. He's just getting started, and, you know, it's already over. Remind me of Whitney Houston's daughter, how, you know, we sat there and watched that girl pretty much spiraling, you know, and then they put her on a reality show while she was in the midst of her grief. So yeah, I don't know if Mary will be back. I would need to take a break, but Bravo is good for exploiting people in their situations. So yeah, rest in peace, young man. So yeah, we're gonna take it to a lighter place. They said that the people out here in New York, and when I say people, I say women. I don't know if this is everywhere. I think it is to some extent. We have a lot of dating conversations over here with Ready to Love and Love is Blind and all of the things, that's going on in the dating sphere. Is that, if that's what you want to call it? But apparently in New York, it's rough out here. New York Times report that dating in New York City has gotten so brutal that some singles events are charging women $100 and letting men in free. The men still aren't showing up. You should be grateful they're not showing up. I'm just saying. So you got women over here that are willing to spend $100. This, and you know what? In New York City, this is absolutely nothing. Like, we're saying $100. I feel like anywhere you go nowadays is going to be expensive. But I feel like in New York City, the expectation should be, that you're about to spend some money. And maybe that's why these men are staying home, because, they got to go out. Even if they go and they don't pay for anything, if they don't pay to have to get in like the women do, they still gonna have to, like, you see how many women here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 women sitting at a table, and now he got to go buy drinks for everybody. He's already up way more than $100. So it says, dating in New York City has become so rough that some singles events are now charging women $100 while letting the men in for free. And even then, the guys still aren't showing up. Organizers admit that they're struggling to get men to attend, with women still outnumbering them nearly 3-1. And reporting comes from the Daily's episode, "Is a swipe era over?" I didn't like the swipe era. I'm just saying, Tinder swindler and all, which explores how singles are adjusting to life beyond dating apps. They're doing dating shows these days. That's why. While apps may have lowered people's tolerance for rejection and made approaching someone in real life less common, in-person events are creating the kind of organic moments swiping never could. You say, it used to be the women getting free. That's how it used to be. I remember when women getting free on the club nights. Yeah, now the men are getting free. But do you want that man? I don't want him. That's what they say. That's trying to hook up with the bus driver. This is what I think. Times are different. Men do not have to work that hard. They don't have to spend no money. They got a roster over there on Instagram, TikTok, and wherever social media platforms. Dating apps, I don't know. Are people still doing that? Because, you go on these dating apps and then you end up in a dumpster. So that's not safe. All I hear about is people over here getting a money snatched down to the date. I've never really been a dating app person. I remember when Tinder came out and I had my daughter show me, I was like, this is what you do. Swipe to the left, swipe to the right. Get it out of here. I don't want it. That particular app, that's just for hooking up. It took all of the getting to know you and chemistry type things. I think people should not be having singles night. Your club days are over. You got to meet me at the practice field. Well, I was going to say, I really think that's where real relationships are formed. Like when you go out, and I don't mean just New York, in every city. In Atlanta, when I was in Atlanta in the club scene, I felt like I'm never going to find a partner in this particular scene. You know what I'm saying? Because if it's 3-1 over there in Atlanta, it was more like 15-1. The number was astronomical as far as, the ratio of men and women in the city. But I feel like in the city, New York City is expensive. They can't, they got to park the car. That's probably $100. Like when you leave the house in New York, you just spent probably $100 to $200 before you even get to where you're going. So I feel like these particular environments, you just be planning on hanging out, you know what I'm saying? And not looking for single, not looking for relationships. I don't think that's what that's for. And these, and anywhere. I think when you're going out, you're hanging out, you're meeting people. And when you're ready to settle down, I feel like you meet your real person, not necessarily like in that environment. So, I mean, and then like when we was out there, it wasn't on Instagram. So you had to work harder. Now they got to do shit. They can sit home, watch their show, play Call of Duty, and have 14 bitches on the line at the same damn time, and it's free. So if they're serious about doing, having a relationship, they will leave the house, but it will be part of a routine that's not necessarily, down to the club, because I don't think that's a good place to meet people, but that's not the best place to, find yourself in a relationship. And in reality, we're living in an economy where everybody like is in the same predicament. You know what I'm saying? So are we all pretending like we're going out and we're running into these millionaires that, can have all this money to throw around? That's not what real life is like. So you would definitely have to involve yourself in other activities. You know what I'm saying? I would probably be more inclined to go somewhere where there's not alcohol. You know what I'm saying? Where, even at the gym, which is kind of like where you pick up whole bags. I don't know that the gym is much better than the club, but it's part of your daily routine. It's where you get to, have conversation, maybe have a coffee. You need to be doing other things besides going to the club. So your girl is out here, speaking of dating. This is sad to me. I mean, maybe it's an unpopular opinion. Y'all be like, let that lady get her groove on. And I'm not mad at her getting her groove on, but this right here is just another display of stupidness. So Nene Leakes is out here. Looks like Nene Leakes has moved on from her Nigerian boo. TMZ dropped footage of her out at a Memphis Grizzlies game on Wednesday night, and she was not alone. Nene was posted up courtside with attorney Arthur Horn III. At one point, he even leaned in to kiss her. They walked out together. Witnesses say the two were hugged up, real touchy-feely the entire game. Neighbors, y'all here for the new couple. I'm not here for Nene in most situations. Like I said, unpopular opinion. I'm not one of these people that feels like Nene needs to be back at the Housewives. Now, here she go. They say he leaned in for a kiss, but it looked like she dragged his ass. She's hanging on his neck. She's out here like damn near 60 years old, just like a Pop-Tart. And I'm sure she's got high heel shoes on, this heavy ass wig, this face full of makeup, whatever, adjustment she's made. And then she's with this, wavy haired lawyer. She is Tamar's friend. That seems like some nonsense Tamar would do. Like I said, am not from the group of people that want to see Nene back on the Housewives. I'm good without Nene. I think her time is up. Good morning, Lotus Egyptian Flower. Arthur. Not Arthur in your Nene voice. She was just hanging over this other guy who was married and, blah, blah, blah. It just is so desperate, Nene. Janet Jackson is out here with Farrakhan's son, Mustafa Farrakhan. And the picture, we didn't see no picture of them together necessarily. We saw a picture of her and a picture of him. She's not somewhere hanging all over this man. They attended an event together, and I don't think there's anything wrong with Nene dating. However, I feel like it's so not in her best interest, first of all, to be dragging some man that we don't know. Tamar came over here with a lawyer, and what did he do? He, played her in her face. And then he was down to the basketball game with Tommy and was eating her groceries, according to Tommy, and I think him too. So, Nene is over here competing in a space with these housewives, which I feel like it'd be fine to, like, Cynthia, for instance, is a friend of. I think it'd be fine, like, since Nene went over there and talked all that smack about the job. Now she, clamoring to get back over there. She can come through, like on the girls' trip, and have a Nene moment. I was a Nene fan back in the day, but I'm cool on Nene because this is the type of stuff she does. And for me, there's no reason for her to be dragging out on this man. Like, at this age, Nene, you should be doing something else with your. I just have a feeling, looking at this wavy haired man that she's found somewhere down to the attorney's office, he's just like the rest of them, taking advantage of this opportunity to ride the wave that is Nene Leakes. You wish they would all go away? All the housewives need to go away? I mean, this is the thing. I feel like you have to, once you age out, you age out. And Nene walking around in, 6-inch heels hanging over some man in a cat suit is just not a good look. And there's nothing wrong with her dating, but she always got to be doing the most. It's annoying. And, y'all going to be out there swinging for your life talking about bring Nene back to the show. For what? She's, old enough to be most of these girls' mamas. I see, like, the group they got together right now. I'm not mad at it. We'll see what happens. They always hype up the season. And then I feel like we're disappointed because it's just the same old thing. All that arguing and stuff back and forth. So I'm not hyped. Like, everybody's like, ooh, Roa is back. I can't wait to see what's going on over there. And I'm kind of like, we know what's going on over there. So I'll be there and I'll be reviewing it because, we're invested now. Where is the elevation into womanhood? I'm glad you said that, Lotus Egyptian Flower, because this right here, this story, this is what Nene Dagon needs to be doing. And it's not over here slinging her arms, long limbs all over this man that looks kind of slimy, honestly. Like, if I walked in the lawyer's office and he was sitting there, I'd be like, I don't know. I'm getting that vibe through the screen. Look at him. Ugh. He is not there for Nene. Stop it. Anyway, this young lady here, this is what Nene needs to be daggone doing. Black woman makes history as the first to own a luxury adults-only wellness resort. Wouldn't it be great if Nene was, like, at her age, putting her money into something like this? This Black woman owns an adult-only wellness resort, is located in Sedona, Arizona, founded by Genesis Lafourcade of the Genesis House. So I went over here. I was like, well, let's see what it is. Because, Angel was over there in Colorado trying to act like she was offering up luxury things. But this right here, we'll just stop. I just like, let's peruse and see what they got going on over there. So look at that. Luxurious. I wouldn't mind finding myself over there. All you ladies over here spending $100 to go to the club, you could put your money coins together and have a girls' getaway over here. And once you get in the right frame of mind, your man be somewhere like down to the airport. I don't know. Not at the club. But at Nene's age, this is what I would be expecting her to invest in. And she's not. She's over there doing stupid stuff. Sedona Wellness Estate. Look at that. Over there in the midst of Arizona. I've never been to Arizona. But yeah, this is a Black business, luxury spa in Arizona. And Arizona is known for that. I love to see, I love to see us doing big things. She's got, let's see. I don't know. It's a beautiful resort. I don't want to go over there, though. Look like it's some snakes and coyotes over there, but y'all can go if you want to. When I think of, maturity and women like doing big things, that's what I think about. This lady is a young lady, and she's over here doing big things. We have to sometimes, like, we need to pull our money together in order to create these types of situations for us. A feather in his cap, the great Nene Leaks. Yes, that's all it is. And she ain't acting great, Jatoni. She's acting like a bird. Lotus Egyptian flower, that is great. Though for me, I like a holistic wellness retreat in the jungle. Um, well, Florida is the jungle, girl. You might want to retreat this way. I want to I want one. You want to be at one with nature. I feel like Tennessee is a beautiful place. Like there's so many. Colorado, if you want to be over there in Colorado, because Angel was over there in Colorado, not doing, what she claimed she was doing. Women with money. I'm just focused on the women because bros before hoes. So we need to focus on ourselves too. Women with money should be pooling their money to do things like this. You get together, you go experience these things. I'm sure she has. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure she's experienced plenty of these things. And then you create these. She could do it in Atlanta. In Georgia. Georgia has beautiful mountains. So, when you think you flexing by bringing some old dude over here that works down to some law firm on whatever side of town, College Park, East Point, I don't know. Girl, then I guess that's what you do. But it's unfortunate. Because at her big age, she should be investing in other things. I said I wanted to go over to the Black directory. So before I get out of here, I wanted to go over here because the holidays are over, but we still in it. We still in the revolution. And there's a directory for Black-owned businesses. Full of Black-owned businesses for us to shop from. And so it's called buyblack.org. I talked about it a little while ago, like I said, during the holiday. But you can look at, let's look at health and wellness. I'm just going to peruse the directory. Health and wellness. These are all, like I said, it's a directory for Black-owned businesses. This looks like you can get vitamins, things of that nature. I want to look and see about the hair because yesterday we talked about, let's see, we talked about the lead and stuff being in the hair. So that's what made me think of this. Like, can we go over here and boom, there you go. So there's all these different hair brands, Indian curly hair. I would still look it up to see, what the chemicals may or may not be. I think she said you could look on Consumer Report. But for all of you guys that are out there buying bundles from down to the Chinese or, the Asian beauty supply store, you could go right over here. These prices to me don't look no different. I have a client that I do her wigs, not so much of the hair extensions, but the 100% natural hair can be colored. The black hair is going to be a little cheaper because, you got to bleach it up to get all these colors. And obviously the blonde hair gives you more options in terms of colors and things. But yeah, what else they got? I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time over here, but I just wanted to see, we need to just train ourselves to shop with us. You can shop directly from the merchants. Y'all, there's everything on here. Coffee, sugar scrubs. I love those. Have you guys bought anything? I saw Bozema on Beverly Hills. She's wearing, in one of the scenes, it's her and her man, she's wearing Actively Black, and you know how much I love them. Only reason why I haven't purchased yet is because I'm looking for something specific. I don't want to just be around here. I want to have somewhere to go. But she's over there wearing Actively Black during her scenes in over on Beverly Hills. And I bring that up because I was watching Married to Medicine, and they're giving homeboy, look at Steve and his Louis Vuitton. I'm like, Steve, Black man, you had every opportunity to go over here and wear clothing from a Black designer on this big platform, but you didn't do it. You went over here and repping Louis Vuitton, and Louis Vuitton don't give a daggone about you. So maybe over the weekend, y'all could peruse blackowned.org. I'll put the link in the description. And the next time you want to you can type anything into the search bar, and you can get anything like you're looking for, whether it be clothing, like I said, books. There's an array of things over there. It's like the Black version of Amazon. So yeah, y'all check that out. And that's it. That's all I got. Wasn't a whole lot going on this particular day, but I appreciate y'all being with me anyway. We've been here for almost an hour. So y'all enjoy your weekend. I will be back tomorrow to review Married to Medicine. I don't know if I'm going to go live. It just depends. This particular episode was kind of boring, but I will have that video up tomorrow. In the meantime, y'all, like the video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye, y'all.